Greetings everyone, Pockets here, back again playing some more EVE Online. I'm sorry for the lack of videos last week. The flu hit my house pretty hard, so we were all taken out of commission pretty well, but we're getting better now, so it's time to get back into the saddle. It is Monday, and tomorrow the gala is over. Guardians Gala is over, so a quick update on that, and then we're going to get into business here. So I got all 700 points, in fact I got 860 points, so I did manage to finish the event and get all my rewards on Kel. I didn't bother doing it on my alphas this time just because it's quite a long grind, and that Gnosis, while it can do it, isn't as quick. And by the time I was done on Kel, I just didn't feel like doing it anymore. The other thing I did manage is I got all of the spirit skins now for this event, so that's pretty awesome. Managed to get the last one there yesterday, running the last few sites, and so all the skins from the event. So I'm calling this event a success. It's probably my second favorite of such events. The previous one with the drones for Yule for Christmas was really good as well, and I had a lot of fun doing it. My Gila destroys them. I won most of the races, and even then the races didn't come up all that often, but there we go. So you guys have seen I did like 4 videos on it with my alpha and a Gnosis, so pretty good indicator what's going on. So we're gonna get back to business as usual. It has been requested that I show how I salvage a mission after I run it, because I know I talk about it every time I run a mission, but I don't actually come back and show you the salvaging. So I'm going to go ahead. I got a quick little mission here. It's one I wouldn't normally salvage, Stop the Thief. A small amount of mercenary vessels. There's not as many battleships as I'd like for a mission to salvage typically, but I think this will make it a perfect one to do for this video. So we are going to go ahead and do that. So we're going to go ahead and accept Stop the Thief. It's thermal kinetic, I believe, and it's 1 pocket. So what I do is I'll usually check EVE survival if I don't know for sure, and check how many pockets are in the mission. I'll bring that many MTUs and then the ammo. So we're tanking thermal, we're dealing thermal damage, and we're ready to go. I think I have my thermal drones as well. I do, 2 ogres. I'd like just a little bit more room so I can fit all 4 of the heavies in here. I don't know, that's weird, but that's okay. Now we're going to carry cards, not that we need them this match, and yeah, let's go do this thing. Where are we going? We are going to Ametons, which is next door. So let's go quickly run this mission. I'll drop the MTU, and I will come back in my Gnosis, or my Noctis, to salvage it, and just show you what I do. I give all my salvage to the Corp. We do have a salvage buying program as well, though, in our Corp, so anybody in my Corp that wants to salvage and sell their supplies can do so. Let's get a rattlesnake here. It's my rapid heavy missile rattlesnake. We're going to get him on grid, and we're going to shoot some things. And while we're running that, I'm going to talk about just some stuff. I've been talking to a lot of people, especially Ash Tarothi, about high-sec and the Wardec Mechanics, especially now that I've been running high-sec PvE focused corporation for about, what, 3 months now, since December? So almost 3 months since beginning of December. And just some of my thoughts on it. And I mean, obviously people know high-sec isn't in the best state, and there are things to not like about it, for sure. But the general consensus seems to be just to leave high-sec and not worry about it. And while that's great advice, I mean, there's lots of fun to be had in low-sec and null-sec, just leaving a area space because it's broken doesn't help get it fixed. And so that's kind of what I'm going to intend to do. So on that token, I am not going to be starting my Faction Warfare Alpha series just yet. I'm going to give it some more time because I would like to focus more on this high-sec corp and get, maybe see what I can do to make it relevant. I mean, it's relevant to me. I really enjoy it. And so I'm going to see what we can come up with and how we can help. The biggest thing for me, the biggest downside to me in high-sec right now, well, there's 2, is the Wardec Mechanics. They're very one-sided. So Malro's been under a constant state of war deck. We did have like a 2-week period where there was no war, and we're just right back into it again. And it's these big corps flying, most of the time you're flying 10 billion-ish friggin' ships around, battleships like, officer fit Balgorns and stuff, because it's safe. And then small groups like my guys are not PvPers, and when I do grow PvPers, they go somewhere where there's actual PvP, like nullsec or faction warfare, wormholes, and that's cool. That's kind of the whole point of what I'm doing. So I get stuck with all these new bro alphas, a lot of new players. I'm not stuck with them, it's the whole point of me building this corp, but they get nervous. We get a war deck and they don't want to undock their new ships because they can't afford to lose them yet. So they get holed up and they burn out. So of course, I've come up with ways to sort of help with that, and we're mitigating a lot of that as much as we can. But the problem is there's no way to stop these war decks. I mean, if Marmite war decks me, that's it. I'm in a war deck until Marmite decides that they don't want to be at war with us anymore. So there's lots of little things, I don't know, like there's the best, or my favorite solution so far that I've heard, and I've heard it from a few places, Ashtarothi, I believe Aerith was saying it on Talking Station once I was listening. I like the idea of both the war decker and the war decky, the target, have to have a citadel in space in order to do the war deck. Now there's obviously some problems with that still. A big one being what's to stop a group like Marmite putting a Keepstar way back in some backwater high-sec system and then just keep doing what they're doing versus other groups that have structures. Now having a structure should be I'm ready to play big, and I can get that behind that, but I still think there needs to be a way for the defender to end the war. And not just, you know, fighting back, because completely, like we've tried that, and usually either we go to fight back, but we can't field anything that can deal with what the opponents can bring because, well, we're a bunch of newer players. So something, I don't know. I don't know what the solution exactly is, but I'm trying to figure it out. It's something I've been kind of working on in the back of my mind while running this corp. One idea I did come up with would be to have a small structure, like a forward operating base, whatever, not quite even as powerful as an Astra House, but something small. I'm going to lose this ogre because I wasn't paying attention. Get him in our boat. Get him in. Anyway, so something small, like a forward operating base, and has some docking rights and whatever, but have it so that that has to be placed in a system with a structure with your target. So we have all of our structures in one space maybe, and someone wants to come, because the whole point, in my opinion, of the Wardec mechanic, I'm going to lose that ogre, that's okay, is to give high-sec entities the ability to fight over space and resources in high-sec, and to settle grudges. Damn it. And so on that note, having something where, say Marmite wants to war deck Malro, they find one of our structures, and they launch this thing. Make it cheap. It doesn't have to be that expensive. I mean, right now the war deck cost could be rolled into the cost of this structure, and then have them place it in a space with one of Malro's structures, and that's declaring them, and then declare war from there. Now what that means is they can do whatever they want. They can fight us, they can camp on docks, they can camp trade routes, whatever they want to do, but it would give Malro something that we can hit it, and if they don't defend it, take it down and the war deck ends. Again, it's not a perfect, it doesn't solve the 10 bill Balgorn, Officer Fit Balgorn showing up and ruining our day, but it gives us something that we can rally behind. One of the things we have tried in the past, actually just fighting over these things. Let me just orbit this guy. And basically either it's a two-man corp war decking us and they're not on in the same time zone we are, in which case, you know, we could do whatever we want, but then they show up when there's, you know, one miner out doing his thing and he gets blown up. And then when you do put up a fight, they just leave, if you can actually catch them. It's not as big of a problem as some people make it out to be, but it's too one-sided, is I guess what I'm trying to get at. It'd be nice if it was a little less, we're victimizing high-sec corporations, especially new bro ones, because, well, we're trying to get these new players, or at least my group, we're trying to get new players comfortable with the game and out doing things that are fun, and then we get war decked and they just don't want to do it. And I don't know, I don't know what the actual solution is, but the current system is definitely not it. That's for sure. For a guy like me, like I don't mind flying under war deck. I'll just fly cheaper stuff and stuff that's PvP fit, and fly. You know, you can fly in groups. There's lots of things you can do, but at the end of the day, it's still very one-sided, and that's the biggest problem. Is that the attacker decides everything, and the defender just has to kind of react, right? And that's, I think, where my biggest problem with it all comes in. is there's no real recourse for the defender other than gaming the mechanics. I mean, there's a reason why a lot of high-sec corporations are small. You know, 2 guys and their friends doing what they do. You know, a couple friends having a small corp. And when they do get Wardec'd, a lot of these organizations, they just disband that corp and start a new one. And that's... I think it's kind of stupid that that's the way it has to be played. There needs to be something the victim or the defender can do. There just has to be. In nullsec or in faction warfare or whatever, if someone attacks you, you can go out and do things. You can reinforce their structures because they have structures, or you can go and, you know, take the fight to them on their front or whatever. You're not just beholden. I mean, obviously, a small group fighting someone like the Imperium might have a similar problem, but they've also chosen to be in nullsec, which is fine. I don't know. But that's my thoughts. I'm not going to go on. I mean, obviously, there's lots of room for improvement even on any of these ideas, and I don't think there's a perfect solution. I definitely don't want high-sec to be safe. I don't think high-sec needs to be a safe, 100% sandbox safe area for people to play in. That's definitely not where I'm headed. There just needs to be more that a smaller group can do to counter these Wardecs. They're very oppressive. And like I said, we deal with it our way, but it's not the way I would like to deal with it, but it's kind of the only method of dealing with it I have at the moment. And that's it. We're gonna kill Shadow here. I think he's our target anyway. Actually, there's lots of, we can get these Shadow grunts as well. They're picking on my drone something fierce over here. There's some of these. But yes, that's my thoughts. I'm still working on the actual details, and I definitely want to talk more with some folks. Mostly those involved in high-sec, because, I mean, usually when it comes up, the only answer I ever get is, leave high-sec. You know, go to low-sec, go to null-sec. It's like, well, yeah, but that's the stupid answer. That's not the way I want to play. You know, I'm doing what I do for a reason. I do enjoy running missions and taking new players out and showing them how to play in quote-unquote safety, and then when they're ready they can go somewhere else, and we have channels for that. I mean, I can get them hooked up with people in nullsec and lowsec and wormholes. That is not a problem. It's just getting them to that point and having them so they don't just dock up and not play anymore. And that's what's been happening. Well, that's what was happening, and that's when Malro changed how we do things to try and combat that I'm just going to quit playing mentality. So anyway, that's me ranting. I will move on. If you have comments on this type of topic, let me know. I'll even gladly get on Discord when I have time and we can chat about it. I'm on the CSM channel, but I don't see a whole lot of high-sec discussion there right now. A lot of focus on recent events. So I definitely have opinions on this topic and willing to talk about them. And again, I want to find a solution that's not 100% safe. It's just not as one-sided as we currently have. That is my takeaway. I want something that benefits both sides. Just this blanket war deck and shooting people on undocks and in trade routes, it's not engaging in any way, shape, or form. And I don't get the enjoyment a group like Marmite or any of those other groups that do it constantly. I don't understand where they get the enjoyment. So maybe someone can instill that in me and let me know where they get the enjoyment. Is it just because you get to kill freighters and miners and steal all the loot? I mean, that's valid. Wow, they really don't like my drones. Okay. Let's get Shadow. But yeah, so anyway, so the gala's over. I had a lot of fun running it. Like I said, 460 points. I got all the points, got all the skins. I had a lot of fun trying to figure out that Gnosis. That was interesting. Really enjoyed that. That Gnosis should also work for most other events. I mean, this was one of the hardest sites, especially for an alpha or a Nubro. So future events should be, well, if they're that hard, at least that Gnosis should still work. If you're going to do this with any kind of regularity, I really recommend getting a Gila. Alphas can train to it, and it's worth it. I've said it before. And yeah, we're just going to finish up this mission real quick here. I'm going to get rid of these battleships just to get the DPS down a bit. Might try another wasp out on these cruisers, because they're the ones hitting the wasps. Can't believe I lost the ogre. It's a good thing I have like 6 more in station, so I can just reload. I seem to lose more ogres than anything else, as far as drones are concerned. I'm just going to rapid missile down this battleship. One more salvo. Whoops, I missed. Are they taking out my drones? No. Tank is holding. Yeah, we're going to get through this. Probably shouldn't have triggered the wave so soon because I left all the cruisers out, but that's okay. That one's triggering, so there we go. They're all kind of fighting my drones again, but that's okay because we're going to get this battleship down and then my missiles can help. This guy's taking a hit, so we're going to pull him off. Let's just return them. Reloading missiles, that's the only problem with rapid lights, or rapid heavies, is the reload time. Usually my drones do a lot better, but this site seems to really hate drones, which is odd. Are you back? They're going to be here. They're not that far. There we go. And my missiles are reloaded. We'll take out this battleship. One more volley. So yeah, we're going to go back to business as usual. I'm going to fire up Cursed again, and we're going to make him some Eskia's training towards a Gila. Because I honestly think, outside of level 4 missions, the Gila's the best thing for high sec right now. And based on what I'm seeing potentially dropping for those Guristas sites, we'll see how rare it is. But those new damage controls should be pretty nice. Being that they give both a damage bonus to missiles and to drones. I wouldn't mind getting my hands on a handful of those for my Rattlesnake and my Gila. But yeah, so the plan right now is I'm going to keep running Cursed as an alpha. I'll pull him out mostly doing the event sites. I do want to try running the escalations in his Stabber fleet issue that I bought him. He hasn't done that yet. I did get an escalation yesterday, but it's in low sec, so I'm just going to skip it. I don't know how well he's going to run it. Now we're supposed to get reports. Did we just get them already? I forgot to drop my MTU because I was too busy ranting about high sec stuff. So let's just go ahead and drop this for me. It'll have a little bit of time to pull the Rex in. Everything should be in range. Yeah, this is getting a little tight, but that's okay. It'll reach out that far. So we'll let that guy do his thing. Did I get the papers I need to complete the mission? I did. All drones are in. We'll reload our missiles, and we will go home. We will dock up. Gen sort. There we are. And yeah, so I'm going to go back to running my escalations. I'm going to go back to running Tuesday fleets with my new bros and teaching them how to run those escalations, how to run dens and refuges and get those escalations and run them. That's been my biggest focus, and it's what I want to do. Grinding up level 4 standings for the new guys so they can run level 4 missions. And so on. All sorts of fun to go now that the gala is over. That did take a large chunk of my time. And yeah, I can't wait till the Easter, the hunt. Oh no! Good thing I forgot to bookmark. See, I'm not paying attention. I haven't done this in a long time. I need to go back and set a bookmark. It's a good thing it wasn't a complete on kill mission. I would have left that MTU behind with no bookmark. It's been too long. This is the first level 4 mission I've done since the gala launched. So, actually since well before that. So you get to see behind the scenes all the mistakes I get to make. Let's warp to this thing and bookmark that MTU so I can actually make sure I don't warp through the gate because I don't want to. Turn all this off now to recharge my batteries. Let's go back and bookmark that stupid MTU. But yeah, so something has to be done with Wardecs. The other one that's kind of annoying is bumping. And again, I don't want to get rid of bumping, but I was talking to some guys where they get, bumped for 3 hours straight and they can't get away. Now I don't know, I don't do freight, so maybe there's a way to combat that. But being able to, first off, being allowed to bump a freighter for 3 hours and not actually do anything is kind of sad. Like, fine, if you're gonna gank them, but to hold them there for 3 hours, come on. First off, where's that fun? And second off, why is that a thing? Again, so it's like there's no recourse. It's not like someone can come and, oh, excuse me. Like a freighter's not exactly going to shoot a guy and get concorded. You know, maybe self-destruct, but then the guy just gets what he wants anyway. So I don't know. It's that's another thing that needs to be looked at. Again, don't want to need to make it safe. I don't necessarily think ganking should be killed outright, although maybe it should. I don't do enough to know. But definitely, like, holding a guy for several hours and not doing anything, that's not fun for the victim. Not at all. Alright, so now we have our bookmark. Now we can go home. Oh, that is another thing that I did. I made a real stupid mistake. I was autopiloting my pod, to get back to Dixie to pick up a ship. That was when I don't remember why I was going there, but I couldn't get a shuttle locally, so I just, screw it, I'll autopilot. And now usually when I autopilot, I watch the screen and I'm doing something else. Like I'll do some Malro stuff or some YouTube's answering comments or something while doing it. But what happened was I got distracted in a conversation, and instead of stopping 1 or 2 jumps out and manually warping the rest of the way to Dixie, I just autopiloted straight through and got blown up. So here you go. Lost a 40 million-esque pod to a Thrasher on the Jita, a few kilometers out from the Jita dock. And that happens. On the upside, I was planning on replacing it with a newer pod. I wanted to up the implants a little bit from the +3s to the +4s, so I just took that as impetus to go ahead and get my +4 pod. Normally, like I said, I'll watch and I'll stop 1 or 2 jumps out and manually pilot into the dock, because I know you can't autopilot into Dodixie in a pod. Even a shuttle's too dangerous. Usually I'll... So, lesson learned. Set your dock, set your waypoint, but set your destination 2 jumps out from Dodixie, so you at least dock up if you lose attention. And again, I was watching the screen, but I was chatting on Discord, and when I looked over, I was like, just as I got blown up. It was pretty funny. So I'm looking, I'm in Dodixie. I'm still 10 kilometers out from the dock. And there we go. So it was pretty funny. Lesson learned. We had a good laugh about it. I knew better. Did it anyway. So don't autopilot into Dixie in your pod. At the very least be in a shuttle, but even then, stop a couple jumps out and manually pilot the rest of the way. Laziness lost me a 40 mil pod, and that's that. How come we are in Juns? Let's go get this handed in. And then I'll take my Noctis out and I'll show you. This is how I do it now. Alphas can't fly the Noctis. You can do this exact same thing in a destroyer. Usually destroyers used because you can fit like 6 to 8 salvagers on it. Some sites you may end up with cargo problems, and you definitely don't want to fit for cargo. You got to have some tanks so you don't get ganked. But you can go and salvage the site, drop it off in a station, and move it around with a hauler, like a Neuros or something. So when I don't have a Noctis handy, I fly in a. I might even have a fit. Let's see if I have one. Destroyer, probably in the Catalyst. Clean sweep. So yeah, this is. Now I have the tractor beams on here because usually I don't bother with MTUs. I use this for smaller sites, like the refuges and stuff, when I want to do those, because I can get it around quicker. So, but there you go. It's all batteries, and you just pulse this and you fly and you tractor beam, and yeah, it may take you two warp ins to clear a bigger site, but I do use that a fair bit. If you're going to do it with a battleship and you're just going to use it with an MTU, then you can replace most of these tractor beams, if not all of them, with salvagers and go even quicker. Although you gotta watch how many targets you can lock up. Alright, so we're here. Let's hand in the mission. Mission complete. Get our payout. Check how we're doing for LP, because I haven't looked in a while. Let's just see here. So we're at 29,000. It's not bad. I'll have to cash that in here in the next little bit. There's my Noctis. I'll show you the fit. There he is, in the blue skin. The Christmas one that I got. It's the only one I have. I'd like a Load Strike skin for him, but I don't actually know how to get it. So again, 5 salvages in the highs, I do that because I think I can only target, how many targets? 7? Targeting. Oh, 10. So I could replace them, but I keep a couple tractor beams in case I do have to grab something. It does reach out pretty far, 68 kilometers. So just in case. And nanofibers for alignment, and a little bit of tank just in case. A little bit of buffer tank. Although if someone's going to gank me, I'm going to lose it. I don't want to make it too easy. And yeah, so again, this is something I occasionally use if there's a small site close. That's why I put tractor beams on it. If you're just going to do it for missions and MTU salvaging with MTU, go ahead and replace the tractor beams with more salvagers. But again, I do use this occasionally without an MTU, so let's go ahead. So here we go. And we'll just... So it's basically 5 salvagers, 3 tractor beams. I can only fly one T1 tractor beams. I've never trained T2 for either of these. Maybe one day. And then a flight of salvage drones just to get it a little quicker. And I'll show you a trick with the salvage drones as well that I learned, which is pretty helpful. So let's get this guy on grid. But yeah, other than that, been having a lot of fun with Malro. We have a fleet Tuesday night. I'm gonna record it. I'm gonna post this one here. One of my directors is going out to Nullsec. You know, he's got skill points and he wants to go a place where he can really use, you know, the skill points he's trained for. He's very PvP focused, so we're going to go out in a large fleet down into Nullsec. I'll be flying a Raven, and we're gonna bring, everybody just brings whatever they want. We're gonna try and go until he loses his ship. I think he's going out in a Marauder of some flavor, so we are gonna go until we lose his Marauder, and that's gonna be fun. And I don't expect I will be returning in my battleship either. And with any luck, none of us will be coming home, so yeah, it's pretty sweet. I am going to go ahead and warp to the MTU and get this started. So if anybody wants to join that, we're kind of just opening it up if you want to come fly along. Ooh, nice and close to that Marshal. I'm sure we can get you in. Details will be on our Discord if you want to come hit the Malro public Discord and ask for details. We can get you set up. You don't necessarily even have to be in Corp. I know we got some guys from some of the Nullsec groups maybe coming out. And all that, so it's going to be pretty interesting. I'm going to record it, and at the very least we'll show the fight where we lose the Marauder. How you doing over here? Yeah, you're still tractoring in those far ones, so this is actually going to take a while because I was smart. So here we go. So here's the trick. The first thing you do, you land on grid, you launch your salvage drones. Before you target any wrecks, you tell them to salvage. Now they will go pick their own targets. If you have it targeted, they will salvage your target and then stop. At least that's what they've done in the past for me. And then I like to start, they'll start with the closest one, so I start further away and just start working on wrecks. And we'll just let this happen. Now I will 1, 2, oops, 3, 4, 5. We'll put 2 back out because I accidentally double bumped this first one. It's dead anyway. And then we just work our way through. And you can see even with just 5, it goes quick enough. Can't keep enough targets locked to keep salvaging anyway. And I will just do this. What I'll probably actually do, just for the funsies, is once we have these all done, I will pick up the MTU and we'll use my micro warp and my tractor beams to go get the rest of these. Oh, I didn't put a micro warp on it anymore. I took it off. Never mind, we're not doing that. We'll just wait here. Usually I swap one of the shield extenders for a micro warp drive, but I did not do that on this particular one that I purchased recently. Alright, so I'll just sit here and let my MTU do its job. But yeah, this is it. You just sit out here for a few seconds and salvage up all these wrecks. Now they're going to go idle because these guys are too far away. Are they all grouped? Let's see where they are. They are all kind of in the same location. So let's pick up the MT. Let's bookmark this one. And we'll just actually do a bounce. Let's pick up my MTU. Scoop to cargo. Give it a second to do its thing. There's this. Let's scoop this up. We'll remove our MTU bookmark, and I'm just going to warp on over to those other. Alright, that's looted. Yes, looted. Loot all. Thank you. And then wreck. Go ahead and target him. That's the can. Let's pull back our drones. Let's suck this guy in. Because our tractor beams will reach out that far. And then we're going to ping off and go get those other wrecks. Real quick. And we can loot this now. There we go. And how far is our bookmark? 81, so that's closest here. Let's go to this thing. And we'll just bounce back to the wrecks. We'll get them all. I'm pretty sure they're going to be at least close enough. But yeah, this is salvaging a site. It's pretty relaxing. Usually when I get one of the bigger sites with like 4 or 5 rooms, it can take a bit of time to salvage it all up. And usually I'm on comms chatting with corpies or, you know, listening to a podcast or something like that. Very relaxing thing to do. And it helps. We use it to build our rigs for some of our corporate fits. I try to build everything in-house just because it's more fun that way for guys. I do have my industry up and running. All of that said, I've been rambling on like a fool for like 30 minutes now. Mauro is always recruiting at the moment. PvE, PvP, mining industry. We kind of focus on the PvE. We want to do mission sites and that sort of thing. But we do have at least once a week we try to get a small group out into low sec or null sec and do some PvP. We do have a loot buyback program, so you don't have to haul your loot yourself. So let's go ahead. We'll get you salvaging. I'll lock all these up. These ones are close enough. I'll have to move a little bit, it looks like. But let's go ahead and tractor this, 7, and F8. We'll loot this one because it's within range. Oh, it already popped. And yeah, so we'll just sit here with my tractor beams. This is why we fit tractor beams. And once they're in range, we can turn these off. We can salvage. Turn off the tractor beam. We'll let the cans build up a little bit. Let's bring these ones. This one's too far away, so we'll bring this one in. We'll loot all the cans. Loot. Can we salvage this one yet? Not quite. 5,000. There we go. Loot these. And yeah, so I just kind of, when I'm out here, I just grab everything, doesn't matter, and give it all to the corp. So they can turn it into fancy things for people to lose. And that one's already, that's tractored, so we can go ahead and do this. Let's put all of our beams on it. Let's grab it. Loot before we get out of range. And we'll sort of head towards some of these. Of course they're split up, aren't they? Yeah, of course. So we're going to go nab this one. And then we'll turn around and head towards this one. Did I get it? Can I tractor beam that? Thank you. And we'll just pull that along behind us so you can see it. I'm tractor beaming it, but I've turned around. I've also put all my drones on this guy because we're headed that way. And it's catching up to us, so we'll be able to loot it and then salvage it, and then we'll get within 40 of these guys and tractor beam them in as well. This is why an MT or a micro warp drive is helpful. Go a little faster, but that's okay. Normally when I'm running missions, I do it all with an MTU. Okay, so that's been canned, so we're gonna just go ahead and target it. Let's loot this before it gets tracked or salvaged. And we'll tractor beam everything up. We'll stop moving. This is looted. Let's put some salvagers on it. And that's the site clear. Now again, we didn't get a whole lot. You can see 13 million worth. That's not too bad. Bigger sites are worth more, but they take longer to do. And again, if I haven't been asked, if there's no call out for salvage, I don't usually bother. This is something I do when our Malro Industry Corps decides we need more salvage. I'll go out and do this. And there we go. Salvage that up. Call the drones. And site is clear. So that's it. That's what you guys wanted to see. I'm going to go ahead and dock at the Astrohoose and put this into the donations bin. So I'll show you that. This is kind of how we do it. This is more for the Malro guys or people interested in joining Malro. We got corporate balance. Yep, we're doing good. So we got all in 13 million worth of loot and salvage, minus 10 for the MTU. So let's actually go like that. So 5 million. That sounds more reasonable. I was wondering why it was so high. Sometimes you can get lucky on the bigger sites and make 30 million. But again, I mostly do this for giving the industry guys the materials they need. So let's get on home. We'll drop this off. There's a den. I should be running that. So yeah, the next few weeks of videos are going to be probably cursed running combat sites, refuges, dens, hideaways, and looking for those juicy escalations. Hopefully he can do them. I don't think he'll have a problem. That overall, I don't have too much trouble tanking anything in that stabber. I mean, it is a fleet issue. It's 150 to 160 mil fit. Could probably tone that down a bit and do just fine, but I like flying things, as I've said before. So, but going forward, he's going to basically fund himself. I'm going to save up for his own Gila and eventually his own Rattlesnake. I might do a Dominic's first for his mission running. The problem with that is the no micro jump drive for alphas. So we'll have to do him in like probably a heavy drone fit instead of a sentry drone fit. And yeah, let's dock on up. Let's see what's going on. Nothing. Yeah, it's a quiet day today. A lot of people are going down with this flu, so dock up. Now this is what I do. So this is how Malro does it. We have our members and markets. Top this down, and every member has a can. And you put your salvage and loot in your can, and then our industry guys pick it up and sell it on market and give you your cut. But I'm going to go ahead and put this into the donation. Whoops. That's because I can't put this in another container. So we're going to go ahead and donate everything else. Boom, all gone. And that's that. I just fly back to the station, I put this MTU back in my battleship, and I go out again for another mission. But we're not going to do that here today. We are going to just call this video there. So I had a bit of a rant, I'm sorry. If you want to comment on it and discuss it with me, hit me up on YouTube with your comments. For deeper discussion, definitely come over to the Malevelon Row Discord. The public channel is for everyone, not just members, and we have lots of good chats there. And that's probably the best place to communicate with me. Keep an eye on Twitter, because I post whenever I set up a new video. It gets posted on Twitter, and I've started being a little more active there as well. And I do intend to start streaming at some point, and that will also be notified on Twitter as well as YouTube when I go to start to do that. Links to all of my places will be in the video description. And there you go. So I hope you enjoyed that video. That's how I do salvaging, usually with a little less fumbling. No, I'm just a little out of practice. If you drop the MTU at the beginning, usually everything's right on top of it when you come back with your salvager. And that's that. So hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. If you're new and you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe for more tips and videos in the future. And as always, fly safe, take care. I'm out of here.